Autistic burnout. It feels exactly as it's defined. But how is it that even so-called high-functioning autistics burn out? Burnout doesn't necessarily mean you can't achieve certain high ambitions or demands. So then why is it that even some of the most gifted autistics still burn out? Contrary to the common stereotype, burnout autistics are not naturally lazy. In reality, the exact opposite is why they are so burnout. This is especially true of adults eventually diagnosed late. Instead of being accommodated, they are pressured to mask themselves, whether it's certain interests, sensory difficulties, or social differences that don't conform to societal expectations. That is why they end up being high-masking autistics, but not forever. That is the problem with masking. The pressure to conform and go unaccommodated overwhelms you with unnecessary burden. Whether it's sensory overload or social norms, the burden overloads your system and burns you out. Masking, putting up and maintaining an external facade to hide your particular needs or genuine self, demands an extraordinary amount of mental energy and focus. Whether it's a family member, teacher, or anyone else not understanding of autism, you may have heard that person complain that you're sensitive when it comes to your sensory issues. Whether it be noise or certain temperatures, having to tolerate those stimuli adds background stress that drains your energy. Even introducing low levels of stress from certain sensory input builds over time and severely depletes energy. Those of you who are autistic may have experienced migraines or sleep difficulties as a result. It is no wonder many autistics struggle in less inclusive workplaces, even though they at times may initially perform well. They are forced to mask their needs and accept the intensity of tolerating the input. While some autistics may nevertheless perform well, they still must use extra energy to push through, leaving them unable to sustain their performance. Social masking also puts unnecessary strain. You may have grown up in a family who strictly punished you for not conforming to certain cultural, religious, or social expectations of you. Or you may have been othered or ostracized because you felt more joy from being immersed in certain interests or experiences than others. Consequently, when it comes to forming any relations, autistics have no other choice but to engage in the unhealthy practice of people-pleasing, either by suppressing things they genuinely enjoy or demonstrating that they share particular interests with others. But the resulting relationships cannot be sustainable. A social construct that doesn't resemble your natural self takes more energy to maintain. So, although you may at times project the mask, it will drain extra energy. Consequently, you will encounter moments in which you will be unable to project the mask, and it will be only a matter of time before others notice. It is no wonder autistics face relationship difficulties despite all the masking. Even when masking, a relationship may result only because the other person has accepted the mask. But if your partner doesn't accept the genuine you, the only way to maintain the relationship is to continue masking. As time goes, you face more and more pressure from your partner to mask. But the mask simply cannot stand, as you have already drained extra energy to project it in the first place. It becomes exponentially more difficult to maintain a relationship with a partner refusing to tolerate your differences. Many high-masking autistic females have experienced this pattern in their relationships, which at times can lead to domestic abuse or divorce as a result. But it doesn't necessarily require traumatic moments like these for you to burn out. Inadequate accommodations, unsupportive environments, poor support systems, being left undiagnosed, or just plain discrimination. By being forced to mask themselves and their needs, high-masking autistics have to expend more energy than needed to reach their goals in life. Ultimately, the resulting burnout all comes down to this: energy inefficiency. The energy needed for pursuing your goals is being used to put up with sensory stressors or social constructs being forced on you. Having to input that extra cognitive energy just puts your brain into overdrive. It is like an electrical system of a house, the circuits of which are getting overloaded, using more electricity than it can handle, eventually sparking a fire that burns down the house. In the same way, high-masking autistics have to constantly plug into whatever social norms that don't reflect their natural selves, or have to put up with their needs being neglected just to cover up their differences. These unnecessary demands, combined with the demands you need to fulfill, overload the brain's circuitry and nervous system so much that, like a house catching fire, due to overloaded circuits, you simply cannot continue functioning well. You have burnout. Any additional pressure to mask only makes you more vulnerable to autistic meltdown. Again, this is why high-masking females tragically face more relationship difficulties as a result. Other autistics at times find more difficulty breathing when experiencing burnout. Others are much more vulnerable to certain sensory stimuli. And the pressure to mask only adds fuel to the fire and the burnout worse. And the greater the burnout, the more vulnerable you are to meltdowns, sensory stimuli, anxiety, and depression. Until the pressure to mask is lifted, the burnout will remain and get worse. It is like being a house fully engulfed in flames, all but ready to collapse. Others may have lectured that it has to be this way, but the good news is that it does not. There are many ways to minimize, prevent, and even recover from burnout. Regular exercise, improving sleep, meditation, nourishing yourself with good foods, even spending time delving into your own special interests, whether that be video games, toys, or any hobby you enjoy, or even taking a months-long Sabbath from work. More videos will be made on how to improve sleep and other areas of challenge that can build into burnout, so make sure you subscribe to stay tuned. Just know that you cannot afford to mask, and if you are, you need to stop masking. Spend time to rest and reconnect with yourself, your needs, and the things you like. By the way, if you want to learn more, don't forget to show some support by hitting the like and subscribe button. Take care, and until next time.